I'm Kirsten Seeley. I'm 15. I go to Springs Valley High School. I'm currently a sophomore there. I'm going to tell you my story. It's not really that bad, but to me it was. I seen a bunch of stories where everybody reaches out and tells them their life problems. Because you really need to tell someone if you're having really bad problems and you're thinking about committing suicide. Well, here's my story. May 12th, whenever I was a freshman, there's a sophomore who is a drama starter, piece of crap, whatever. Well, I made a Facebook status about bullying, and she commented on it, called me a hypocrite, and a bunch of other names. But I wasn't going to let that solve anything. I wasn't going to say anything to her, because I just knew it would start stuff. All I said was, how is that being a hypocrite, making a Facebook status about bullying? Well, she told one of my friends that I went off on her because she was being mean to one of my friends. Well, yeah, she was being mean to one of my friends, so I'm going to, she doesn't know how to stick up for herself. So yeah, I'm going to say something to her and tell her to cut it out and stuff. Well, she commented on it and was like, hypocrite. I just said, how's that being a hypocrite talking about bullies? Because it wasn't, she said it was just about her. It was not just about her. It was about every bully in the nation, or in the U.S., or whatever, in the world. How about that? And all my family members were sticking up for me. Literally, all of them. Well, all that happened on a Sunday night, and finally I went to school Monday. I went to school no matter what, because I had to. My mom said I had to face my problems. So I went, and she called me a bitch, and a bunch of other stuff. She was mean to me that whole day. And I was crying before first period because of her. And so my first period teacher asked if I wanted to go to the office, and I was like, yeah, I do. Please, can I? And he said, yeah, so I went to the office, and we have to talk to our assistant principal about this stuff. So I did. He wasn't in there, so I talked to the person in the office, because she's a real help. She really is. And she told me that she'd have Mr. Thompson talk to me about it, and he'd call me out so whenever he gets back. So sixth period came along, and he called me out, and he talked to me about it. He said he'd talk to her about it, but he can't really do anything about it. And if anything else happened, to tell him about it. So I did. So I was like, okay, thinking everything would stop and all. But I got home from school, and I had a message on Facebook from her saying, Mr. Thompson does not scare me or anything else, and none of this is going to go away just like that because you told on me. Because I don't care if you tell on me or anything. Well, finally, I told him that next morning. I told him what happened. And he said he couldn't do anything about it. Well, finally, I just started to ignore it. And then it all went away. And then my best friend, who we've been friends since we care, since I was this big, and she didn't like me because she called all my other friends a prep and everything else. Well, finally all that went away, and she was sitting by one of my other friends, and someone told her that I started a bunch of rumors about her that were lies and everything, whenever I didn't even say anything about that person. Because I'm not that kind of friend. I don't go talk bad about people. Well, she said for me to go die, and she just started making me cry. So I went back to the assistant principal the day after everything between me and that one girl quit happening. And then I told him what happened. He said he talked to her about it. And he did. And he just called her out and started asking her questions. And then she told me the next day during third period, she was like, ooh, tell Mr. Whatever isn't gonna scare me. She threatened me still and everything else. But during that happened in like 2 weeks. Both of those things happened in 2 weeks. And, like, it was just awful. And I thought about committing suicide. I did. I had suicidal thoughts. And I tried to cut myself. But I look back, I was like, okay, suicide isn't the way to go. Because if you commit suicide, then the bully automatically wins. And you don't want the bully to win. You want yourself to win. You have to stay strong in this kind of situation. And I know people out there has had it worse than me. But I've lost friends since that happened. I have. And I gained my best friend back. I have. And I'm glad. Because she's honestly a great friend to me. And I hope we never go through that situation again. And I hope everybody out there who is going through, who is getting bullied, reaches out to an adult or tells a friend and lets them tell an adult. Because I don't want to see any of this happen to anybody. I don't want to see anybody commit suicide because of bullying. Because that's just the wrong thing to do. I mean, some of you guys are weak and you guys can't handle it. Cause, I mean, I'm definitely weak. I cannot be mean to anybody, even whenever I try. But I just wanted to tell you my story and how I wanted to commit suicide, just like a bunch of other people, but I didn't. So stay strong and reach out. Thank you for listening.